Hi everyone, Tony here. Hope you're doing well. I have a special guest with me, Jay Blaskey, the head of sales at BitIRA, which is looking to bring crypto to IRA. So Jay, thank you so much for joining us today.
Tony, it's great to be with you.
Jay, I think a lot of folks, I remember getting messages on Twitter and even some of my other channels asking, hey, can you interview the guys at BitIRA? So can you give us an overview of what BitIRA is about, the history, and what the services that you provide?
Absolutely, absolutely. So a couple of years ago, people were looking as cryptocurrency was really entering the mainstream and it was becoming much more viable as a legitimate opportunity. People were thinking, this could be the next big thing, similar to the way tech was back around 2000, well, the late 90s and early 2000s. And obviously, they wanted to kind of partake in the marketplace, but there are a couple of big barriers. Number one, the technical skill at the beginning required to work with the keys and the trading platforms, it was really, really high. And number two, a lot of people, most of the investing that they're going to do, it's actually going to be through their retirement accounts, through individual retirement accounts known as IRAs or Roth IRAs, or even through employee-sponsored plans such as 401ks, 457s, even thrift savings plans, which are typically through the government. So what we did, our company's background is that we're the sister company of the Birch Gold Group, which works in a separate space, but they do alternative investments for retirement accounts. So we thought we could kind of leverage that strategic strength and try and apply the same kind of mentality to opening up the ability to buy, sell, trade cryptocurrencies with retirement accounts and make the whole thing a turnkey solution and accessible to a much greater segment of the population than it was, 2 years ago, essentially.
Sure. Got it. So that's very interesting, and I think you hit the nail on the head where there's a lot of roadblocks for folks who may not be as technical or don't want to go too much into the weeds. They want an easy on-ramp. So sounds like you guys are ahead of the curve with this.
Yeah, I mean, and that's also part of the mentality for a lot of people that are doing this. For them, they see the future of cryptocurrency, and they think that once you can simply log on to a current account and switch into this at the click of a button, these are limited supply assets, and you're going to open up a lot of potential demand. So there's a lot of upside there with limited supply and unlocked demand. They want to be ahead of the curve. They don't want to be, the ones that are coming in last. They want to get ahead of the curve so that when that demand's unlocked, they get to see the fruits of really their strategy, which is to, get in early, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. So which cryptos do you guys currently offer within the service?
Well, great question. We currently work with Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Ethereum Classic, Stellar, Lumens, Ripple, Litecoin, and Zcash.
Awesome. So that's a good, I think it includes the top cryptos and a good variety for sure. So glad to hear like you're including like Stellar and Ripple XRP and those, because I think everyone knows about Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, but it's great to hear that you're including these other altcoins as well.
Yeah, I mean, we want to have opportunities available for as wide a range of people as possible. Obviously, there's the more traditional cryptocurrencies, such as a lot of people just go with Bitcoin because they're not sure where the market's going to go, and they want this what they perceive to be the safest bet among these assets. But then we're working with a lot of people, young people. They've moved from company, they've got an old 401k, it's not performing, and they understand what Ripple's trying to do in replacing the SWIFT network, for example. They understand what Stellar Lumens are trying to do in the developing world, and they see this huge potential, and they're thinking, why can't I jump on board? Sure. Now, the way that we came to this list, there's a few requirements that do go into it. We have to be able to account with it with the IRS. We have to be able to trade with it securely, and we have to be able to store it securely. So sometimes we're kind of pushing the envelope and pushing one of our partners to be able to fulfill the last link in one of the three requirements in order to put something on the platform. Sometimes we're just reacting to the market, and the market is bringing these closer and closer to the mainstream. And as soon as they're available, that's what we like to do. We like to make them available.
Awesome. That's great to hear. And I'm assuming you're going to expand that list as time goes by.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we want to make this, we want to make as many options available to as many people as possible. Ultimately, no one knows what the future holds.
Yeah.
And, you know, especially when you look at retirement accounts, most people don't even realize that you can do stuff beyond just mutual funds that have been sat in for 10, 20 years. They don't realize that there's a whole world of opportunities out there. So part of our company mission is really to bring these options to people. We believe that if we give them the information and they do their research, people are pretty good at making decisions about what's best for their financial future.
Got it. Now, if I wanted to start investing, is there a minimum amount? Is there a maximum amount that I can, you know, deposit or get started with?
So the minimum is going to be about $15,000. That's the minimum we can open an account with. That's simply because some of the limitations I mentioned earlier, we have to do set trades in a certain way. Those minimums are in place. In terms of maximum, you can do any figure that you like. I'm trying to think what our maximum deal is, but you know, you can certainly do 7 figures or even 8 figures. I don't think a 9-figure transaction's been attempted, but we're here and we're ready if you guys want to start.
So on that note, I think you know, there's a terminology for the folks who have big bags, the whales. So I'm curious, and you can say you can't speak to it, of course, but have you had any whales come in with, you know, the 7 figures into your service?
There's a lot I can't give out simply because of customer confidentiality, but there have been some orders that have certainly raised some eyebrows, and I think that's we didn't know how this was going to work out when we started it. It's been an exciting thing to go on the journey with, but there's some people that really understand this market, that have serious funds, that understand exactly where this can go, and they're gonna put their money where their mouth is, basically.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I think that was a great response. Not giving away too much, of course. Now, let's talk about security. Obviously, in putting money in this, and we know that exchanges get hacked, and all these things happen. We're very early in the market, and some things are still being ironed out. How secure is your service?
Security is probably the thing that we take most seriously, because if we don't get security right, it doesn't make a difference what else we do get right. If people can't feel safe placing their money in this asset, then they're never going to do it. And you shouldn't. If you don't feel 100% secure doing something, you should move away from it as quickly as you can. There's 2 products that we work with. One is a Bitcoin-only account. In those instances, all Bitcoin is held in cold storage, not connected to the internet in any way, shape, or form. It's held by a custodian. It's held by a wallet company called Xapo, XAPO. They are arguably the largest institutional holder of Bitcoin. They were described by the Wall Street Journal as the Fort Knox of institutional Bitcoin storage.
Wow.
They've never been party to any hack, and we've had nothing but great work with them. The second option, which is for our multi-coin solution, each individual customer will get a hardware device. And the cryptocurrency is stored on this hardware device, and then it's physically disconnected from the internet and placed in a depository that's licensed by the federal authorities to hold retirement assets. So it's taken offline, and because it's in a depository, you get even more insurances which are related to the depository, such as social engineering insurance. If someone steals your identity, you've got coverage, hacking, employee theft. So you do get a lot of benefits when you take that physical device and put it in a IRS licensed depository.
Oh, wow. That is very interesting. And I think it has a lot of guardrails. I mean, it sounds like if you lose that, then, you know, you're covered in a way with the insurance or what's set up, you know, within the service.
There are insurance policies to cover against loss, absolutely.
Oh, wow. Okay. Interesting. Now, let's talk about taxes. You know, let's say I have the IRA account with you guys, and I want to move my funds from let's say Bitcoin to XRP. Am I taxed in any way within this system or not? So
the caveat I have to give, this is California, I'm not a CPA. I'm not licensed to give specific tax advice about your scenario. However, I can tell you what is standard with all tax law in the United States. People look at this program specifically because it removes a lot of the headaches associated with cryptocurrency. outside of an IRA, if you move from one currency to another, that's a taxable event. Yeah. If you move into cash and then move back into the original currency, the move into cash is a taxable event. Inside of an IRA, all of those worries disappear. You can move into cash, you can move between tokens. Everything is technically non-taxable because it's designated as retirement qualified funds. Your entire portfolio grows inside the IRA. When it comes time to be taken out the IRA, it's taxed just the same as any other asset. Basically comes out in income in the year in which you wish to take it. Now, some of our clients have Roth IRAs, and in that case, they never pay any penny of taxes. They're looking at the long game. They put in 20 to 50 to even $100,000. They're thinking 10 years from now, this could be worth 7, possibly 8 figures, and they're going to have all of that upside without having to pay a single penny in tax. And
wow.
You know, I'm crossing my fingers for those guys, because if they do, it's going to be a great day for everyone involved. There's nothing better than helping people achieve that kind of financial success.
Wow. There's so much incentive there, because I'm thinking about the traditional aspect of going in an exchange, buying. You have to make sure you have your private keys. You have to make sure you have it on your respective hardware wallet, which is not insured. So it sounds like you guys really have the guardrails, and it makes it easier. Like, kind of gives you peace of mind. I can put it in there. Also, with the tax perspective, I can move it within there. Obviously, you're not a tax expert, but in there, within the IRA rules, so to speak. And it's not
a taxable effect. Exactly.
Wow.
We like to think of this as a turnkey solution. When I first started telling people about the program, I really showed my age, because I said, well, it's as easy as ordering a pizza. And everyone would be like, well, you can do it online. I'm like, no, it's as easy as ordering a pizza was in the 90s. You have to make a phone call, but you basically just say, this is what I want to buy. And then we send you digital confirmation. You click a button to confirm, and that's it. The order is executed on your behalf. Anytime you want to sell, you just place a phone call, assets get pulled out of cold storage, and the same thing happens. So it's as easy as ordering a pizza was in the 90s, which was pretty easy. You'd place a phone call and you'd go ahead.
Got it. Now, I'm going to ask kind of a silly question, but I think a lot of people probably want to know about this. So obviously, I could put money in, put my funds toward a specific crypto, and that crypto's in cold storage, of course, and I could cash out. What if I said, hey, guys, can I have my crypto instead of cash? Do you offer that, or it's no, it has to be cashed out into fiat?
We actually do offer that. What you're describing is what the IRS refers to as distribution in kind. It is possible to ask for a distribution in kind. So say you're 50, in order to get anything out of an IRA without paying penalties, you got to be 59 and a half. If you're in that period and you've seen the growth and you just want to put it on your own wallet, you can actually ask for a distribution in kind, and the actual cryptocurrency will be sent directly to the wallet address that you provide.
Oh, wow. Very cool. Can you tell us a bit about the new portal service that you launched, and as well as the upcoming 2019 plans? What can we expect from BitIRA in 2019?
Absolutely, absolutely. So about a week or two ago, we actually launched a customer portal, which has been in development nearly a whole year. And what that does is it gives a single interface by which all of our customers can see the historical pricing for the assets that they've purchased. They can see the growth. They can compare it to other currencies. They can also initiate any kind of interaction, such as the purchase, a sell, or a trading of one currency to another. So it really does help people manage these cryptocurrency assets in a much more user-friendly manner than anything that we've seen kind of in this space before. That was our big thing for 2019. We're going to try and add additional functionality where we can. What we're really hoping for, of course, is more currencies. More currencies always brings people in.
Sure.
But ultimately, we're still very new. Everything that we're doing is already ahead of the curve, pretty much. So we're just going to be working with our current customers as well as the new customers to get them moved across to this portal, and get them experience using it, and just keep everyone as happy as we can, basically.
Sure. And I think it's something I think a lot of the viewers will want to know. This service is only available in the United States right now?
Absolutely, yes. Well, it's only available with the United States retirement account. So if someone worked in the United States and has gone back to Canada or Europe or somewhere else, if you have an IRA or a 401k plan or any form of qualified retirement plan in the United States, you can use it from wherever you are. But everything that we're working with is kind of centered around the current retirement law framework. Got it.
Makes sense. Now, finally, this is not financial or investment advice. What is your personal outlook on the market? Given that we've been in a very long bear market, but there's a lot of building happening in this bear market. So, what are you guys seeing on your end and your personal outlook?
So we saw the pulling back in prices as actually a good thing. Ultimately, the rapid growth that we saw late 2017, it was too much too quickly. Yeah. It was similar to the tech bubble burst that we saw, at the beginning of the 21st century. That didn't mean that the internet was going away. Right. It meant that people in a rush to invest in the internet didn't really look before they leapt. Yeah. What we're seeing now is far smarter, far more cautious money flowing into the space. And what they're building is with a lot more caution for a lot longer view, which is something that we find really, really exciting. Obviously, it's always nice when we see positive price appreciation, but another development that I think is exceptional, earlier this week, the SEC was speaking at the University of Missouri School of Law. Yes. They were talking about the regulatory framework and how essentially as this stuff was growing late 2017, there wasn't really the regulatory environment in place to support it. And they're looking at introducing regulatory support. We are very, very pro-regulatory support. I mean, obviously, we work with retirement accounts, so people have that additional oversight, which is great. But the safer people feel interacting with this marketplace, the easier it is for them to experience that marketplace. No one wants to, think about the first time you go to a restaurant. You think when someone says, where do you want to go for dinner? You think about the restaurants you've been before because you know what they serve and you know what you like. Yep. If someone makes a great recommendation, there's still some trepidation. So if we can reduce those risks, reduce those switching costs effectively, and that does happen when regulatory oversight is provided to guide people, it's just going to be a great thing for the marketplace. Institutions, as well as larger investors, will just have more confidence and a greater ability to participate. And all of these things are going to be incredibly positive for the entire cryptocurrency ecosystem.
Yeah, and it seems like we're making it's a bit slow, but we're making progress, and it looks like the folks in the government are becoming educated. And like you mentioned, speaking at University of Missouri, Hester Pierce and the SEC commissioners, I think we're getting more of them on board. And I think some bills are being introduced to Congress, like the Token Taxonomy Act. So some progress being made, and like you said, it's more smart money and more cautious money, but and making smarter moves and building instead of hype and speculation. So awesome. Jay, thank you so much for joining us today. The service sounds amazing. And for those of you who would like to check it out, I will put a link in the description of the video, bitira.com. You can definitely check out their service. And Jay, we would love to have you back as things progress on your end.
Tony, it was great chatting with you today, and I'd love to be back. And, have a great weekend. Thanks so much for spending the time with me today.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.